A lot of people are saying you should 100% be running Valtan hard if you're Valtan hard ready at 1445, and that I'm telling people and influencing people to run Valtan normal, and that's the better way to do it. This could not be any further from what my intentions were, but I can certainly see how it could be interpreted that way. In this video, I'm going to be clearing up everything and giving you information, all the information that you need to know to make your own informed decision. As always, please like and subscribe if you found this content helpful, and catch me on Twitch if you want to converse with me directly. Twitter is also a new platform that I'm trying to build up, so I would appreciate any follow there. Moving forward, I'm going to be making all of my announcements via Twitter, if not Discord. First and foremost, in that previous video, I had a section that I accidentally cut out from the video, and I immediately posted a comment in regards to it, and it was in reference to those who had hit 1445 already. Part 1 was focused more on those who were not 1445 ready. This section right here is going to focus more on those who are 1445 and ready to do Valtan hard at day 1. Before going over these points though, there are two things that I want you to keep in mind. The first thing is that any loot that's gained upon the completion of a raid, that is not factored into any of these scenarios. When you finish a raid, you have the option to bid on a chest that gives you crafting mat materials, for example, the Valtan bones or the Viking's wings. If you win that bid, you will get like 5 of the crafting material, and that is not factored into any of this. This can significantly speed up the gearing process, saving you weeks. The second thing to keep in mind is that Amazon could completely change the mat material and the mat cost for our region. Keep in mind that Argos originally required 3 different types of mats, and in our version it was completely different. Now let's go over the information that you need to know in orderly form. Number 1, the Vicus release date is a major determining factor on whether you should actually push for Valtan normal or hard on day 1. It's not wrong to run Valtan normal on day 1. There are upsides and downsides to doing both. I personally believe that Vicus is going to come out about 6 weeks, at least 6 weeks after Valtan. That is completely a guess though, based off of my own personal intuition. I just personally find it hard to believe them releasing it before 6 weeks. The point is, nobody knows for sure when they're going to release it, and because no one knows for sure when they're going to release it, no one can definitively say that you should do this. Also keep in mind that Vicus normal is 1430 eye level requirement. That's lower than Valtan hard, but Vicus hard requires 1460 eye level. So by introducing Vicus to us, if they do it anything like they did for Valtan, we can assume that we are getting hard along with the normal version of Vicus, which would essentially be meaning that we would have 1460 content upon release. I just don't see that happening sooner than later. It's simple. The sooner Vicus comes out, the sooner you should be trying to do hard. The later it comes out, then the argument of trying to do normal a couple of times to get the legendary pieces becomes a valid one. Number 2, the legendary Valtan set has a damage and crit set. The damage set is hands down better than the crit set. The 4-piece bonus from the damage set, which is also called the beast set, will give you up to 20% extra damage, which is literally the same thing as grudge level 3. It's absolutely undeniable that if we don't get any more gear pieces post Valtan, then a hybrid mix between relic pieces as well as 2 to 4 beast legendary pieces would be considered best in slot for certain classes. Number 3, what about the Whisper set or the legendary crit set for Valtan? Upgrading from the Argo set, which gives you crit, to the Whisper set, which gives you crit, is actually pretty debatable, and in most cases it's not actually recommended. In fact, in Korea it's not really done, but also you have to keep in mind that in Korea Vicus is out, so every player has the ability to get the bonus effects from the beast set for every class, versus our region where we're limited to what we can get. The reason why the crit legendary set, the Whisper set, isn't that great is because it gives you a up to a 25% crit rate buff on hit with the 4-piece bonus, which sounds great, and you get an additional 25% for every time you hit the target. The issue with the Valtan legendary crit set is not so much the amount of crit that it gives, but it's the way it gives the crit. You essentially get a stacking buff that increases your crit rate by quite a bit actually, but the issue is that once you actually crit, you lose the buff and you lose the stacks and you start back from 0. So it can kind of be a little bit wonky to play around. Versus the Argo set, which gives you a flat 15% crit rate buff that you can maintain. The value of going from Argos to the Whisper set is not really worth it in my opinion, and it's a big reason why nobody actually uses the Whisper set in Korea. And this is another reason why there's just so many different scenarios and different variations of how people should be going about their gear. If you're one of the guys that are forced into using the crit set from Valtan, then I would probably recommend staying with your Argos gear if that's the case. Number 4, so why are people telling me to farm Valtan hard day 1? The reason is because you can start to pre-farm bones and rocks. Bones and rocks are the needed crafting material to craft your relic gear pieces. Bones are used specifically to craft only Valtan relic pieces versus rocks, which are used to craft both Valtan and Vicus relic pieces. You will not need the bones to craft your Vicus relic pieces. However, you could convert them into rocks, which you can use for your Vicus pieces. Which brings us to our next point. You could exchange your bones for rocks. You could exchange 5 bones and get 1 rock in return. There will be an NPC that's added to the game that will allow you to exchange 5 bones for 1 rock. You can also exchange wings for rocks as well. This exchange does not have any diminishing returns and can be done in an unlimited amount of times. In the future, we'll also be getting an NPC that we can go to increase the quality of our gear by paying gold in rocks. 3 rocks for a weapon, 1 rock for an armor piece. Rather than dismantling your gear and recrafting it to try and get your gear quality up, you should be upgrading the quality of your gear by using this new method. Keep in mind though, nobody knows if any of these NPCs are going to be added to our version of the game. Putting all this together, so far it comes down to this. By running Valtan hard first, you sacrifice being in potentially the current BIS gear set for an unknown period of time, most likely a month to month and a half, in order to farm more rocks, which you'll use for your Vicus crafting or your quality upgrading. Diving deeper into this now, number 5. As mentioned before, you can convert your bones into rocks. You will be essentially converting all your extra bones when you don't need anymore into those rocks. Vicus drops the same amount of mats as Valtan normal. You do not get rocks from Vicus normal. You do get them from Vicus hard. Rocks will never be a bottleneck for you because you'll always be running Valtan hard alongside your Vicus normal. This gives you more rocks, it gives you more bones, which you'll turn into rocks, and of course you'll also have the option to just buy them at an NPC for gold. From this, we can deduce that the extra Valtan hard runs from day 1 is for the purpose of upgrading the quality of our gear, not to get into Vicus gear faster. You will not get into your Vicus gear or your full 6-piece relic gear set any faster by doing Valtan hard day 1. You are essentially running Valtan hard day 1 for the purpose of upgrading your quality of gear faster at the cost of being in potentially best in slot gear for an unknown period of time. Also keep in mind that none of this is accounting for the gold and loot difference between hard and normal. We are strictly talking about the gear process here. Of course, the overall quality of the loot between normal and hard should also be considered and valued. Here's a quick TLDR so far. Valtan hard gives rocks and bones that can be turned into rocks. You'll need Vicus wings and rocks to finish off your Vicus set, aka the remaining pieces of your 6-piece relic set. Wings bottleneck you from getting that relic set, that 6-piece set, not rocks. Running Valtan hard early essentially just nets you additional rocks. Those rocks which you'll use to increase the quality of your gear, as you probably won't be short on them to craft your actual relic pieces from Vicus. If you compare Valtan hard versus Valtan normal, if your concern is getting your relic gear set earlier, well, you will certainly get your relic gear set from Valtan earlier, but not necessarily your Vicus pieces earlier. You'll actually be getting your Vicus pieces at the same time as someone running hard if you ran normal first. The net difference is that the normal player is going to be in a better short-term gear set, but the hard player is going to have more rocks to roll those quality upgrades on. Again, this is not factoring the amount of gold and loot that the hard player also benefits from as well. Also keep in mind that gold can can make up for the deficit running normal over hard. The difference between normal and hard are 6 bones and 2 rocks, meaning the total difference of running hard and normal day 1 is a net total of 6 rocks, 2 bones, assuming you're turning in the extra bones for rocks. These rocks can be purchased at a vendor an unlimited amount of times for a maximum base price of 1,000 gold. Each week you can purchase up to 10 at a discounted price that continually goes up as you get closer to 10 purchases, which will not exceed 900 gold. Counter this, of course, you could also say that someone that's running hard could spend that same amount of gold and just have that many more rocks, which is absolutely true. The final thing that I want to mention in this video is going over a few things in regards to the spreadsheet that we put out. So if you take a look at this spreadsheet here, I've actually added this little image to the right. This is going to show you exactly how much gold and all the loot that you get from each Legion raid going forward. These are the gold and loot rates based off of current KR. So keep in mind, once again, our version could be different. If you scroll down, there's a lot of people that were a little bit confused with this section right here. And I just want to be a little bit more clear here. I don't see how anyone could possibly disagree with this section right here, because this section, these 6 sets, literally includes every combination in the game. I have gone back and made it a little bit more clear, or tried to make it a little bit more clear so that people understand, but the fact that people are saying that they don't agree with these sets clearly means that there is a little bit of miscommunication here. If you look at this note that I added here at the bottom, legendary pieces can be subbed for Argos. For example, set 6, a 2-piece legendary crit set, which is this part right here, which is the 2-piece whisper set for Valtan. It can be replaced with Argos 2-piece, meaning the 20 tendons in the 2 weeks right here would not be needed and could be skipped. The whole purpose of this chart right here is to show you exactly how many mats that you would need to get a 2-piece legendary set or a 4-piece relic set. If you don't need the 2-piece legendary crit set because you want to stay in Argos, which is totally fine, you do not need these mats right here. So again, this chart is not so much, hey, these are the sets that you should be playing. It's more, hey, whatever set that you're deciding to play is going to be in one of these 6 sets, and thus these are the mat requirements. So for example, if I need a 4-piece relic set and I don't need these 2 legendary pieces because I'm staying 2-piece Argos, so if my set is 2-piece Argos, 2-piece Poem, 2-piece Death, for example, that would be set 6. So I would not need to get these mats right here because I'm staying in Argos, and the 4 pieces that I'm going for, which are 2 and 2, I would need to go 55 bones, 6 rocks, and that would require me 5 runs. That would be a 4-piece relic set that includes the weapon. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the reality of the situation. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.